and gentlemen, the following is another magnificent episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye spinach. He is the tranquil dart of Ringside Society, Delaware's greatest American hero. And whenever he goes to Taco Bell, he asks for a cheap burrito because he loves the combination of chicken and beef. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And in the second corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up bossing, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always on the go. Catch him if you can. Last minute, if you saw it, he was in Tokyo, Japan. No cap, straight facts. The worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. But it's not about us. You see, we have a special guest tonight. And let me tell you something. This woman actually wears two hats. That's right. You see, because by day, she is a boat engineer. That's right. She's the woman that's actually responsible for making sure you have that safe trip across that lake, across that river, heck, maybe across that ocean. And by night, she is a pro wrestling referee. That's right. She's the one that's responsible for making the decisions, making the counts, making sure that we don't get too bored in a match, and also makes the decision that says, hey, enough is enough. That's the match. Have a good night, y'all. Everybody. And not only that too, she has actually been traveling. That's right. She has actually refereed in 13 states, 2 countries, and 29 promotions. Everybody, welcome to the show, the rose that blooms in adversity, Rozie Jones. How you doing tonight?
Woo! Y'all, that intro was crazy on so many different levels. I love the individual ones, but that was so beautiful. Thank you very much.
I try, man. I mean, it's a little bit of Justin Roberts, Howard Finkel, Road Dogg. I just yell at the top of my lungs and hope I sound good. That's pretty much it. But Rozie, welcome to the show. You've been on our radar for a minute, and then you know what? We were sitting down thinking, you know something, we need somebody different. We need something that's different, you know. And we were like, we've interviewed wrestlers, we've interviewed international wrestlers, promoters, but we haven't had a referee on in a while. So we were like thinking, how about a female referee this time? You know what I'm saying? We tried Aubrey Edwards, but they were like, nah, we probably got to talk to her agent. We were gonna try Daphne Lachey, but we would probably have to talk to her agent. So we're like, somebody who we can easily we can easily contact without having to do lunch or having our people call their people. And then we're like, wait a minute, what about the ever so incredible Rozie Jones? I mean, this woman is incredible. Yeah, it's about time for us to pull the trigger and have her on our show. So here we are. And I believe this is the first time ever, but Rob here is actually a professional referee himself. Professional referee himself. Yeah, professional wrestling referee, tongue twister. But good. He's one for 1CW. So I guess, I don't know, I'm getting old. But for the first time ever, we have 2 referees on the podcast. So
listen, we're in a zebra herd at this moment in time. Also, the people you mentioned previously were amongst royalty. That's crazy.
Right now, I'm thinking, oh, geez, somebody's going to Rob's going to be like, it's a DQ. You're going to be like, no, it's a count out. And you guys are going to be arguing. And then, you know.
There's going to be a zebra fight. No.
But welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you on. And wow, 29 promotions. Woo! You've been a busy woman.
Yes, I have. It's been a crazy couple of 2 years. Honestly, it really has. But we're here now. And we're living life to its fullest. We finally hit summer. I have been waiting. It's my favorite season, and it's in full swing.
Yeah, summer. I don't mind summer. I'm in a nice air-conditioned room. Other than that, I don't really mind. If I'm outside and I'm working, I'm like, no, I can't. It's hot out here. So, but I welcome it. You know, we already have the. I don't know if you've ever been to New York, but we already have Mr. Softy out here, you know, playing his little song. And
I love ice cream trucks. That's like my favorite part.
I'm a sucker for a triple flavored sundae, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, like a banana split pretty much. So I'm a sucker for one of those. Maybe after this, if he's still out there, I'll probably go ahead and grab me one, you know, just for the heck of it. But so I gotta ask you, man. You've been doing the referee thing for a year and a half. We're gonna get into that, but I always ask this question to pretty much like 99% of our guests. How did you become a fan of professional wrestling? What was the match or the event that you saw that made you go, "Wow, this is cool"? You know what? Y'all got a fan
Yeah.
in me for life now.
Yeah. So I lived in Dallas previously, and some family friends of mine, uh, they were the type of couple who would go to Mania every single year, but they were like low key. He was safe enough to propose to her and you know, get that rock. So what ended up happening was they decided to like buy the pay-per-view and just watch there at their home. And I am not good with WrestleMania numbers, y'all. 38. What was the one that was in Jersey? The women main evented for the first time.
I'm bad at
Um,
numbers
35?
too.
Wait. Was it the longest one?
it was really long. It was really, really long. The main
Wait, was
event
it?
was
Was it?
was Becky and Charlotte and Ronda.
Oh, yeah, WrestleMania 35. I'll never forget that one.
35. Yeah.
Whoosh.
So I showed up late, and my first match, I kid you not, my first match that I ever saw was Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan for the title. And let me tell y'all, what a match to have as your first. Also, like said, family friends are black, and so my I like to call him my adopted father. His name's Brandon. But when Kofi won, that's a big man. I've never seen him cry other than his wedding day. But when Kofi won, those were some tears coming out of Brandon's eyes. And so I was like, what is going on? Like, what's happening right now? Like, we're not supposed to call it fake. But like at that time, I was like, it's a very strange art form, you know. It's like half acting but gymnastics and athleticism and the glitter and the sparkles and the glitz and the glam, and I was so confused but astounded at the same time. So yeah, that was my first match and my first event that I watched.
Wow, that's cool. Kofi Mania, that was a big thing,
Yeah.
especially for the black community because we never really had a WWE champion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, the Rock was the first one, but like even with the Rock, it was still a while until we ever had anybody else, reach that goal. It was
Right.
like the Rock. The last time the Rock held it was what 2000 like 2012, 2013. So it was like it would be another like 6 years until we
Something
had
like that.
somebody ever get to that point. So Kofi Mania was definitely a big thing, and that WrestleMania in general. I mean, granted, it was the longest WrestleMania, and I was gonna use that for my that Rob. That was gonna be my trivia question for our summer giveaway, but I was gonna throw that one away anyways because yeah,
It went like
I'd have to be specific.
6 hours, 5.5.
It
I
was eight
can't.
hours.
Oh
And
my! Oh, I'm rewriting history in my brain. I don't know anything. I'm so
it
sorry.
was it was it was either 7 or 8 hours, and I remember that was a whole work day for me because I was stationed in Japan at the time, and Japan is 14 hours ahead of us. No, they're
Oh.
13 hours ahead right now. So right now it's like roughly what 7, like probably 8 o'clock in the morning over there. And I
Mhm.
remember when it came on, I was starting my work day, but luckily we had a TV where we work at. So I just put it to like WrestleMania and I was just watching and just dealing with patients and so on. So
Mhm.
I was in and out of it, but it was a long yet memorable WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was it. I think it's so funny. Like you don't really start to like have opinions on shows that you watch until you get really deep into your fandom. So for me, like that WrestleMania is great, but for other people, they were like, "Man, that was so long," and like some of the matches were terrible. And for me, I'm just like, "Yay, this is my first one."
It
You know what
was
I mean?
it was great, and not just for Kofi Mania, but the fact that the women finally broke a barrier. They finally achieved the goal where they went from having their match cut to now main eventing the biggest spectacle in pro wrestling. That
Yeah.
was that was great and that was amazing, and they did it a second time too.
Yeah,
Two
I
years
think
later,
what was it? Bianca and
Dr.
Sasha.
Banks.
Yeah, I
Yep.
came into wrestling at like such a critical time of like getting to see women in those spots. And so, for me, like when people mention past history, I'm like, okay, well, that's past history, but this is where we are now, especially like with the things that I watched coming into everything. I'm like, nothing is impossible. That's my take on wrestling.
Yeah, I've always been, rooting for the women, to have, better opportunities and more opportunities. I mean, I remember 2013, I was like, can we get some tag team championships? I mean, give more
Mhm.
depth to the women's division. I mean, not just everybody playing hot potato with, the one singles title. I mean, can we get
Mhm.
some more depth, and it took a while. It took like 5 years, but eventually they or 6 years, but eventually they introduced the tag team championships. Well, they reactivated them because they were around before,
Mhm.
and now you have, they have a middle tier title, and which is the Intercontinental United States title. So I'm very glad, and I'm hoping that there's more where that came from, a lot more where that came from, because everybody deserves, equal opportunity, man, regardless of whether of their gender or their ethnicity. Just give them a chance, man. If they're over with the crowd, pull the trigger and go, man. You know,
Exactly.
that's that's what I've always lived. I've always lived with, you know, and that's what Ringside Society is too. We give everybody a chance. We don't care. Um, so who were some of your favorites that you enjoyed when you were a fan of wrestling?
Well, so I'm really like in comparison to my peers. Some people have been watching their wrestling their entire life. I'm not an old head when it comes to wrestling, right? So,
It's fine.
um, but so for me, I like started watching basically right as AEW was coming up. So starting with that, I mean, Kenny Omega, super incredible, and then it's so funny how you like get hooked into one part of one person's career and then you get to go back and watch sort of the evolution of them over time. So everything that he did in New Japan with the Bullet Club and then understanding the Bullet Club in general and how the progression is still happening today with like the War Dog story. In terms of women, I adore Sasha Banks / Mercedes Moné. She can do no wrong. I'm very excited for what's going to be happening at All in Texas. The promo they just cut recently, it was outstanding. Like I just adore all of that. I'm trying to think of slowly over time, like obviously like NXT Black and Gold, I like to say is my bread and butter, and so it's a cliche, but Sasha versus Bailey at Takeover Brooklyn, like it's those small momentous matches just kept bringing me through. And Bailey won Money in the Bank, like just all over time. I can just recall different matches. And then because NXT Black and Gold's bread and butter, like we got to see the first ever women's war games and that match that happened in Chicago with the Dakota heel turn. Incredible stuff. So slowly over time went through that and then ended up really falling in love with Joshi wrestling, particularly Stardom. So yeah, that's kind of how my evolution of fandom started.
Wow, that's awesome. So, did you ever get to meet any of the wrestlers that you just spoke about, like Mercedes Moné, Kenny Omega, members of the Bullet Club, or any of the Stardom?
Uh,
Well, I know you
I,
probably met the Stardom wrestlers because I mean you did stuff with Spark.
yeah. So I have met some of the Stardom roster with because they're affiliated with Spark Joshi Pro, and then a couple of times I've been on the same card, not on the same cards, excuse me, working alongside some Tokyo Joshi wrestlers as well. It's kind of helping out backstage. In terms of like the bigger names, I have not. I know Mercedes does the indies very sparingly. One of my ref zebra friends, Nick Shin, got to ref Mercedes versus Indy Hartwell at the House of Glory show, and I was so jelly. But just to like not only just to be there, but then also to like to ref that is absolutely insane. So I have not met any of the big idols, but wrestlers have those lists that they write down of who they want to face off against. Like I have names that I want to referee. So
Okay. So wait, you know the White Tiger, Nick Shin?
oh, of course, yeah, I love Nick. He's the best of us.
Oh, I met that guy a couple of times. I've been trying to get him on the show, but I guess he's really busy. He's a great referee, man. I
He
think he's
is.
based because I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I think he's based over here.
He
But
is. Yes.
yeah, that man is one of the best I've seen, man. Him. and I think Scott Dumang is another popular one.
Stevie
Um,
Dumay. Yeah.
Steve Dumang, and then there's Mr.
He
I don't know if you know Mr. Black from Jobber Tears. He's another great guy. He
I don't
does
know.
stuff for Battle Club Pro, and
Oh, okay, okay.
what was the other one? I think he's done stuff for House of Glory.
Yeah.
So yeah, three great refs, man. Wow,
I
small
can't
world.
I can't speak high praises enough about Nick in particular. He comes in regularly so I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can see the Pirates. Listen, we're not talking about their winning record or lack thereof right now, but no, he works for a company over here called Enjoy Wrestling, and they bring him in a lot. And I've just like learned a lot from him about like uh, watching him how he works, and then also sort of his expressions and his reactions to different things. Like he's a really solid ref.
Yeah, definitely. I know refereeing isn't easy. It's not what people. It takes a lot of focus, and you got to know what you're doing. But before we get into that, I gotta ask you. So, um, the with refereeing now, you're a boat engineer by day, referee by night. How did your journey go from, you know, Rozie Jones, pro wrestling fan, boat engineer, to now Rozie Jones, boat engineer slash pro wrestling referee? How'd that journey go for you?
Oh gosh. I mean, so I studied engineering when I was in college. And so I was like kind of being in male dominated spaces in engineering or in pro wrestling. It's just kind of, I've been about that life. I was on an all girls robotics team starting at 14 years old. Like, it's just kind of been something that's always been there. All girls robotics team going into high school and then into college studying engineering, then doing a grad degree. And then from there, I started working in like telecom, transferred over to their AI division and data science division, and then worked in robotics a little bit, coming back home to Pittsburgh after the pandemic. Pandemic was rough, guys. It was really rough, but we made it through. And then post that, after doing robotics, I was open to some different work after doing some traveling. And I got a LinkedIn DM that they were looking for somebody with my capabilities in the boat industry, and that there are just jobs that you never think of that are careers that you can possibly be a part of. But indeed, there are people who engineer boats and who do a bunch of customer research with boats and market research, and so that's how I landed in that particular field. But I'm a part of a family that is always like, don't quit your day job just yet. Don't quit it. You need that health insurance.
Yeah.
So I've always kind of wanted to balance both aspects of my life, both my corporate and my passion project, which is wrestling. So I think I started training in wrestling at Flatbacks in Orlando in the fall of 2021. Took a little
Okay.
bit of a break and then debuted fully with refereeing in March of 2023, and then have just been on this crazy balancing act, juggling both at the same time. I'm very fortunate enough to be able to work remotely. So that means as long as I have a Wi-Fi connection, a laptop, and potentially a phone, I'm good to go with what I do. So that means I can travel all around. And luckily enough, my and my managers and my coworkers are very supportive and want me to send my matches to them all the time. So.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Flatbacks. Wow, we had a couple of people from Flatbacks. I don't know if you know them. Avery Bro,
Avery was a part of my training session as well. Cameron Stewart.
Cameron Stewart. Oh
Yes.
yeah. Who is tag team? There was a guy, Dante. Geez,
Dante Casanova.
Dante Casanova, and we had
Yeah.
another guy. Is this Stacy Alexander?
I don't think I was a part of his training class.
He was.
My guy was a Uriah something. He's from Georgia, so he had a bit of an accent, and he was doing a whole sort of Southern preacher gimmick. But he and Cameron tagged all the time together.
Oh, I remember Uriah. Yeah, I heard about him. I've seen him around. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Uriah and yeah, we had a couple of those guys on here. There was another guy. Man, that was so long ago. My memory is not the best, but I definitely remembered Dante Casanova, Cameron Stewart, because Cameron was always on NXT. I'd always spot him
Doing
there.
crazy stuff as Cam
Yeah.
does.
And then Avery Bro, I remembered her, and I was like, wow. And she had I think she's from Louisiana.
She is,
And
yeah.
yeah, I was like, yeah, that's a very impressive bunch down there, flatbacks. Y'all are definitely turning out a lot of great students there. Um, I think it's ran by, is this still ran by Tyler Breeze? Tyler Breeze and
Sean Spears.
Sean
Yes.
Spears. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Shout out to those guys. Do a lot of great work down there. So um so now you're doing the ref, so now you're refereeing, right?
Yes.
And you have your first match coming up. What was your mindset? What was going through your mind when they said, okay, it's either sink or swim from here? Were you like nervous or were you confident? Like,
Oh
you know what?
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. It truly was a sink or swim mentality. It's kind of one of those things where I've been thinking a lot recently about how, like, when your dreams are about to happen, do you think that you're prepared enough for it? And the answer is always no. Like, unless you're like a top tier Olympian like Michael Phelps and you've been through the through this multiple times, and another gold medal is nothing special to you. But I think for people like us, like, when that moment happens, you just have to be able to kind of take the horse by the reins and go for it. So I was very, very nervous, but luckily enough, I had a supportive enough locker room that was like, you can do this. And I had to take a bump in my first match. It was crazy, but it was a really good time, and it was a really solid foundation. I was like, something that, as advice that I've always been told, is, um, the next match is always the next match. Like, you don't have to worry about, if this match it doesn't go as what you thought it was, there's always going to be a new one. Always going to be a new promotion that you can go to, always going to be a new person that you can referee. You can always move forward from the point that you are.
Awesome. So now here's the thing. So you've refereed a lot of matches, over a year and a half. By the way, congratulations. That is hella impressive.
Thank you.
What was the one match that you refed? Or have there ever been several matches, a couple of matches that you've refed, that when you were done, you went backstage and everybody was like, yo, Rozie, yo, that was mad dope, yo. Like, yo, the way you held down that match as a referee, like, have you had that match yet? I'm sure you did.
I
I'm
mean,
pretty sure
so
you did.
refereeing is always kind of like an unsung, like, position, like, it's never really about the ref. It's always about the magic that the wrestlers can produce. We're just kind of there, to check in, see if everyone's being safe. Are you guys good? Can you continue? Do you need a break? Like, anything like that. But then also, we're kind of the third man. Mike Chioda likes to say he's the third man in the ring. I am probably the third woman in the ring, but you're just kind of there to set the parameters of what story we're trying to tell, right? Without any rules, a wrestling match wouldn't make any sense. And so I don't think I've ever had a moment where the entire locker room has been like, yeah, you're so cool. I think the closest that I've gotten to that was I was like a month in, and one of the referees that was booked alongside me for a show pulled out, kind of ghosted, basically. And I had to Ironman 12 matches back to back to back over the course of 2 hours. And I think that was a moment where the locker room was like, yeah, you got it. Like, handing me like energy drinks and also electrolyte drinks and giving me food so I can keep going type stuff. But yeah, I don't think I've ever had a, oh my God, you're so awesome moment. I don't think that's a thing.
I
Yeah,
think that,
with that. Oh, my bad, Remy. I was gonna
yeah,
say with that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about with that. Yeah, like if somebody says it, it's the guys or gals you were working with or whatever. Like, hey, good job out there, good job, yeah,
Right.
like that. Yeah, yeah. Because yeah, it's always like, yeah, they're in there, they're telling the story. The ref is like the narrator. You're out there, just that's what I was always. That's what I was taught. I mean, you just go out there, do. Yeah,
We're doing the world building for the story, and then the main
yeah.
characters get to tell the
hmm
story. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, and then you got to count to 3, 5, and 10. You know what I mean? I can do that,
Yeah.
so I'm all right. Now, if I go to Japan and got to count to 20, I don't know about all that. You know what I mean? But yeah, 10, I'm good.
Yeah.
so speaking of Japan, have you gotten to go to Japan yet, or just United States and Canada?
I haven't gone over to Japan yet. There are opportunities in place that might allow me to do so, in which case I would be absolutely honored to do that. I honestly think from everybody who I know who's gone over there, it's really just like it allows people who go over to just kick into another gear. There's something about going over to Japan and working Stardom or Noah or BJW or New Japan or whatever, Sendai Girls or Choco Pro or whatever, like it really just allows you to fully develop your craft in such a way. I'd be honored to, but I have not gone.
I'll tell you this firsthand from somebody who was not only who's not only been over there. Actually, I was just over there last month, and for my birthday, and I was stationed over there with the United States Navy for 3 years. I could tell you, it is everything and more. If you stay over there for a certain amount of time, afterwards you come back a changed person.
Yeah.
Like I even noticed it with myself. Like I'm like, wow, this old school me wouldn't have done that. What's that? Damn you, Japan! You done turned me into a better person now in New York of all places. But honestly, it's a great place. If you ever get that opportunity, get that booking, take it with a smile and go, embrace it, enjoy it, take lots of pictures, take lots of videos, take lots of TikTok videos, and
Yeah.
just indulge in it. I'd say be respectful because now, but you don't seem like the person that's going to do something out of the ordinary over there. But um, just take it in, and you know, right now they're facing over tourism because everybody and their cousin are trying to go over there. Of course, when you have a lot of people touring over there, there's always going to be those few people that think, oh, you could go do a pull up on a sacred structure, or you can take a picture of somebody, and even though they don't want to be in the picture or video, or you could something they do it here in New York. They say, "Hey, showtime, everybody!" and they start making a set of noise and putting on loud music and dancing on the trains, and they do that over there. I'm like, bro, are you an amateur tourist? You cannot do what you do back here
Right.
over there. You gotta be
This
chill.
isn't your house. Right.
Yeah, like you can't do stuff on the train over there. Why? Why?
Yeah.
But it's a great place, and if you get that booking, take it with a smile and go. I don't know if I know the official rite of passage for pro wrestlers is getting the Ribera jacket from Ribera Steakhouse, which I've
I've
actually
seen many people carry one. Yeah.
yeah, I've actually been there once. I hope one of my dream things I would like to do is get an interview with the owner, just to talk about his like experience, or the owner's son, because the owner doesn't speak English, but the son does. So I'd like to at least get him on here so we could like just talk about his experience, you know, with running Ribera and meeting all the different wrestlers all over the world. So I don't know if
It's
that
such an iconic place, right? Like it
yeah.
just it truly means something more. And for like people who live there regularly, they're just like, oh, it's some random steakhouse. But for like pro wrestlers, it's like a thing that you strive for is to get that jacket.
Oh yeah. I don't know if it extends to referees, but if it does, I hope you get one as well. Because like I said, I always say, referees are an important part of what I call the wheel of professional wrestling. They help keep the wheel going around, because if it wasn't for people like you and Rob, you know, we'd be seeing eventually we'd get bored of seeing two guys or three guys or three women or how many manner of people in the ring throwing haymakers and doing suplexes. It would get bored after a while. So it has to end sometime. No matter how much you enjoy the match, it has to end sometime. So
Right.
yeah, you guys are definitely an important part. So I just got two more questions before I turn over to Rob. I know Rob probably has a bunch of questions since he's a referee as well too. And so in regards to you did 29 promotions, 13 states, 2 countries, or is it 3 countries?
It's 2 countries. It's two
Two
countries.
countries. 13, 2 countries, 13 states, 29 promotions in a year and a half. That is hella impressive. So, what is the most profound thing you have learned in your year and a half of refereeing, working with all those promotions in all those states over 2 countries and over 2 countries?
I think, man, And this question is specifically geared towards what have I learned about working those specific promotions, correct?
Yeah.
Or is it about the journey?
It's the journey, like your journey, in that year and a half across those promotions, across those states, and across the two countries. What is the profile, the one of the most profound things, or some of the most profound things you've actually learned during that journey?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll take a bit of a detour, but I'll
Okay.
stay aligned with the topic. So, I tore my ACL in December, not this past year, but the year before that. And so I went out with surgery September 20th of this past year. And so that whole experience was very, very hard. And so I tore my ACL, and then I did rehab for about 2 months. I came back in February of 2024, kept going for 6 months until August, and then decided to get surgery in September. And the reason behind me that I kept going was I felt like I was on a good momentum. I was meeting new people. I was going to new places. You kind of hit a moment with refereeing where you were officially known as a good ref. And I can't tell you when that switch happened over for me, but I was finally like getting to the places and refereeing for the people that I wanted to ref for, and being on the promotions that are like so iconic to me. And so I just kept going. But eventually I got told the advice that if you really want to make this happen for yourself, you need to invest in yourself as much as possible. And so for me, what investing in myself looked like was going and getting surgery and coming back a stronger, better, faster version of myself. So I think that's one of the most profound lessons what I learned is no one is going to invest in you unless you invest in yourself. And that could be applied to any type of situation. That could be applied to your social media. That could be applied to your looks and how you dress the moment that you show up for shows. That can be applied to how you carry yourself and how you best prepare your materials to send out things to places, having a sample portfolio, having references, and all of those types of things. I think that's one of the lessons. I think the other lesson is just grit and tenacity is just a hard lesson that you need to learn for yourself, because I truly believe in karma in the universe. Like, you go through so much, but eventually, like, what is it? There was something that Chris Bay put out probably about 2 weeks ago, because that man has been through a journey, right? And he was talking about how, like, when the universe is quiet and you're at your most low point, that means the blessings are going to be loud and they're going to be huge, right? So I just think, like, the grit and tenacity to keep being able to power through your struggles will ultimately lead you to such a incredible place in your life and in your goals for yourself.
Awesome. That's definitely, and by the way, kudos to you on returning from injury and striving to be better, stronger, and faster. That's definitely a lot of motivation right there. Some people when they get that one injury, they're like, okay, I gotta be careful, I gotta nurse life now, I gotta be all cautious. Which you should be cautious
Yes.
at all times, but I mean, like, some people are just extremely cautious, and you're just getting back on that horse and going for your goals again. So kudos to you on that. Glad you're still sticking with it. At my last question, now I know we know that your song, the song that we had, it was Starlight,
Shooting Star by XG.
Shooting Star, Shooting Star by SG, which is a great song. I've never heard it, but when I heard it, I was like, okay, this is a bit of a bop, homegirl got things. But I gotta ask you now, when Rozie Jones is in the gym getting ready to work out, do some cardio, do some reps, or where she's getting ready to ref that one match that's gonna be a long night, what are some songs that are on Rozie Jones's playlist?
Hold on, I got my phone right here.
Okay, there we go.
I gotta put. I am a person who is not really about, like, really loud and hard music, like, like that's not really my speed. I think I tend to like a lot of either like softer things, R&B, somewhat acoustic music, indie pop, like those types of things.
Yeah.
Man, I'll just I'll give you some songs that I'm listening to right now. Let me find my new play. I have like a lot of playlists, guys. I very much apologize. I am a big K-pop fan. So there's a group right now that's called Baby Monster. It's really good.
Okay.
Another group that's called Purple Kiss is really good. Speaking of the indie pop, there's a group called the band Camino. I love anything Renee Rapp does. I listen to a lot of Victoria Monet. She's very like R&B heavy. Yeah.
And you
A
got
girl
that
named
good taste. Okay.
yeah, Jessie Ware is a girl from over in England. And then I'll say there's a girl right now who's kind of indie, but she's breaking out. She opened for Taylor Swift. She's Australian. Her name is Ash.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of the artists that I'm listening to. Very like soft. I think because my life is so crazy and I'm trying to balance so many plates at the same time, I think I really need calming, melodic, heavy, beautiful harmonies type music. Yeah.
It's okay because I actually live in Brooklyn, New York, and for some reason I have one of my guilty pleasures is actually Carly Rae Jepsen. I don't know why.
Amen.
But
Oh my gosh.
Call Me Maybe.
Call
And
Me
there was
Maybe.
this one
Her new
song
stuff is
that
incredible. Her new
this
stuff is
one
so good.
this one song that I heard that instantly became one of my workout songs 10 years ago. I really like you. It was I don't know if you ever saw the music. Yeah, and it had
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. It had Tom Hanks doing the lip syncing, and I'm like, okay, this is officially a cool music video because Tom Hanks is in it. You know.
Another song I'll recommend to you from hers is Cut to the Feeling. That's a good one. And then the other one that she just did was oh no, help me God. I listened to it so many times, but I'm blanking. Cut to the Feeling and The Loneliest Time. The Loneliest Time is she's in this disco era right now. It fits her voice fantastically.
Another one I liked that she did was with another guy who has a song that I'm guilty of liking, Owl City.
Good Time. Yeah.
He had, for some reason, whenever Fireflies comes on, I'm like, yo, turn that up, man. That's my joint. Like, because for some reason, like, it seems like, okay, you have that nerdy kid in school that's kind of into computers and whatnot.
Right.
And he somehow finds a way to make beats. And that's the kind of vision I get. And then he decides he's gonna be cool and but embrace his nerdy stuff at the same time. And that's the kind of vibe. And like even like for some reason when that song plays, like I can imagine everybody in the high school going, wait, that nerdy kid made this? Yo, this is a bop. Yeah. You know, so, and the thing I like with Owl City is that some of his songs, it's like you could rap. Like if you were a rapper, if I was a rapper, I would probably like just rap on the beat. I think he
want to get on a feature with that. It's really
I think he secretly wanted to be a hip hop producer, but he didn't know how to. But he kind of snuck these little beats in. I'm like, Owl City, if you watching, I'm watching you, bro. You trying to be slick
we know
out
what
there.
You're up to. We know.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off drop. Kind of Rob, your fellow sibling in Stripes has some questions for you as well. So Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet, thanks. So what's going on, Rosie? How's everything going your way?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. So was the day a good Thursday? Anything crazy happen? Just normal day?
Oh my gosh. Well, we got some people paving our the street outside of our house. So it's just a whole bunch of like dumpster truck noises and backing up beep beeps and a whole bunch of noises. And then we have an 8-month-old puppy. And so he's like, where are the bad guys? I must go and fight them. Right. And he's like a tiny, tiny little dog. Right. So he's just going crazy and we're trying to balance all the chaos happening.
That's awesome. What kind of dog do you have?
He is a Sussex Spaniel. So he is a tiny little pipsqueak of a dog, sassy, very smart. And he knows that he's cute. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Oh, Rob has a boy band. Rob has a boy band actually in his in his own house. Actually, he has 3 of them. You know,
so he has a boy band.
I have three Beagles. No, actually, Radar's the only boy, and Lucy and Katie, they're the girls. You know what I mean? So
No,
Yeah,
it's
I
kind
so
of
guess
like what's
yeah,
that group?
Radar does the
Sugarland.
bass. You know, he does the bass. You know, they got the high
He
pitch.
does
He does
the
the bass.
bass. That's so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm thinking
incredible.
maybe
Oh,
I'll
they
be
all
like
bang.
I'm thinking maybe I'll make Barry Gordy a Motown or record and start Ringside Society Records, and then let the Beagles be our premier artists.
Beagles do sing like that. Oh my gosh. I love dogs that go, oh, woo, woo. Like I love bloodhounds and beagles
Mhm.
and huskies. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the dogs they even come on and jump on the show and stuff. They're being real needy or whatever. You know, what I mean, they'll come in here and they
Rob,
hop in my lap and they're just like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "All right,
but
hey."
Rob, you got to stop that, man, because every appearance they make, it gets more expensive.
I
I can
know,
only buy so much kibble and bits, man. Come on, bro.
I know. They love their
Jeez.
treats. They love their treats. You can, yeah. They're easily swayed by treats. You know, what I mean, yeah, you can
Yeah.
go do almost anything with some treats.
Food motivated.
Yeah, they're highly food motivated. Now, you're over here. You're wearing a Pittsburgh Pirates, shirt and stuff. You know what I mean? Fun fact: one of my childhood friends that I went to school with and played on Little League with pitched for the Pirates. Ian Snell.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
do
Oh
you
my
know? Have you
gosh.
heard of him?
I have. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
we played baseball. We played Little League together. We graduate. Went to high school together, junior high. Yeah.
Whoa, that's awesome. Oh my gosh. So then you can like hook everybody up with like incredible seats then. Is that what I'm hearing?
See, I don't know because he hasn't been with the Pirates for like a long time, I guess, or
That's
whatever.
true.
I
That's
actually
true.
haven't talked to him in like years. But
Man.
whenever I see him, I'm like, hey man, what's going on? You know what I mean? If he's out and about, visiting dad or whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think we were all like, yeah, he might get drafted or something. Yeah, because he threw harder and faster than everybody. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, I think he's I think there might be talks of him retiring that jersey. I'm not really sure, but I think he did some really good work for us. And trust me, we recognize the good players and we always want them back. Case in point, Andrew McCutcheon. So
there you go. Yeah, I like Andrew McCutcheon. Yeah, he's pretty good too. See, I'm in Delaware. I live in Delaware, and like I'm a mile away from the Maryland line, so I'm all Baltimore. All my
yeah,
squad, my
all
squad is
Orioles.
Baltimore. So
Oh man.
yeah, yeah. And then if you get people north of me or whatever, they're like Philly. You know what I mean? Like Eagles,
Oh,
Phillies.
oh my God.
We
I
get
don't.
some Steelers and Pirates fans. Around there, but yeah, it's like
A
that. And then like
smattering, a smattering.
yeah, then you get Cowboys fans. You know what I mean? Like
Ugh. Sorry, I lived in Dallas for 7 years. I'm allowed to have that reaction.
mm,
There are two cursed organizations in football. It's the Cowboys. It's the Browns.
yeah, the Browns. See,
Mm.
my favorite team though is the Dolphins because see, I'm so old. I was born in 1982, and Baltimore didn't have a football team. You know what I mean? So I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
I didn't have a football team. The first like game I watched, Dan Marino was like, dominating. I was like, that's my
You're
guy.
like,
That's
yeah,
my
that's my
squad.
guy.
Yeah, yeah. And then it's been heartbreak ever since. For like 20 years dealing with Brady and oh man,
But they're
it
doing
was
okay right now. I'm pretty sure. Like
yeah,
they
they're
had a
all
pretty
right.
good year.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all right. They're not as bad as they were, so it's all
Yep.
good. So talking about all the refing and stuff you did, and the iron, refing 12 matches in a row. I've had to do something similar to that too. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I know that's not easy. So, and I'm pretty much guessing they weren't like 5 minute matches. I'm guessing they were
No,
like
they
10
were
to
not.
12 minute matches. I'm guessing they were 10 to 12 minutes and stuff. You know
Yep.
what I mean? So yeah, how long was your breaks in between or whatever?
They
Did you
had
get, or was it just like did they give you like hold on, give me like 2 minutes, like pound this water down or whatever, and then send them out or whatever.
well, so I mean, the venue itself was really, really interesting because it was a part of street festivals that happen every Friday, right? So
Hmm.
as a part of the street festivals, they had live bands play in this space, and then there was a wrestling ring that was set up right next to it. So I was blessed enough to have a break at an intermission that was a band's entire set. So that was like 30, 45 minutes. So I think
Okay.
that's what saved me in the long run, if I'm being really honest. But there were times where I was like, there's a stairs that you would go up, and then there's the sound control. And so I would go up and I would yell at the wrestlers about to come down, tell them not to play music. I didn't drink water. Like, yeah. So.
Oh man, yeah. See, I've had to do one similar, but it wasn't. I don't think it was 12 matches. But we were in the wrestling school in the middle of like July, August, and we were doing some taping for our
Mm,
weekly show that we do every week. And it
right.
was like it was like some stuff like, hey, if we need to fill in between the times, we need like another match to fill out the time. I mean, then we take one of these, and the AC was broke, fans were broke and
Oh,
stuff, and it was like I'm
it's
telling you, it was an
the
oven
AC
in
is
there.
always
They,
broken. It always
Oh,
is.
I had the my ref stuff on. I had a t. I usually wear like a white t-shirt or whatever underneath, whatever. And I'm sitting there like that. And like after match one, I was like, hold on, I had to take my one shirt off. They're like, oh my god, Rob's about to die and stuff. And I was like, no, I'm good, yeah. Yeah. Tossing me water. I'm like, hold on, look.
Exactly.
Whew, all right, let's go. I don't know how I made it. How we made it.
Oh, it's a blessing
Oh
to
yeah.
be working wrestling in the summer because that's the high season for it. But
Mm-hmm.
there are some hot venues that do not have AC that you would think have
Yes.
AC. Why in a hockey rink in Canada is there not AC? I don't in this
Oh, I
during the
know.
summer. I'm very confused.
That's right. Oh yeah. You got, especially if you're like doing the shows outside or whatever. 'Cause like this summer we got like we're like
Oh,
doing stuff every weekend. I think from this Saturday to like the end of August, like one CW and the schools or whatever, we're doing like birthday shows, regular shows, head festivals or whatever, and like for the rest of the summer. And yeah, sometimes we'll sit there and just. It's like there ain't no trees or shade we could throw the ring up, put this ring up on under, you know what I mean? Because man, it's just,
right,
that sun's
right.
gonna be like, woo!
Y'all better put on your sunscreen. I swear.
Oh yeah, it's be like, man, if y'all, y'all wrestle without shirts, today might be a shirt day. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, if you don't, you wrestle in your trunks, it might be like, fancy shirt day.
Exactly.
That's right. So, being a ref and all, I seen that you were CPR certified, and I think that's awesome. I think refs should have that because every second can count. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, even if you are like at like doing a show at a hospital or a fire hall or a police station, where people are like right there, or whatever, that 5-10 seconds, could you do
It
whatever.
matters. It really
Yeah.
does.
Even if you aren't certified, at least if you know how to like just keep them going, so just yeah, like staying alive, do
Yeah,
stuff like that, right?
literally keeping on the beat. Sparks Fly by Taylor Swift, Pink Pony Club by Chapel Roan, Staying Alive by the Bee Gees.
There you go. Now, speaking of that and stuff, have you ever dealt with during a match? Have you ever had come across like a wrestler like injured or something? It's like, this is going to affect the whole match or whatever. You have to relay, to everybody else. Like, and what was that like?
Oh my gosh. So do you remember it was like the early pay-per-view days of AEW and Cody got cracked open like on the back of his head like with the chair, like a lip
Yeah,
on the
I think
back of
so.
his head. So instead of it being on the back of a wrestler's head, they were using a chair and it lipped the side of his chin.
Mm,
And they were doing a hardcore match. I was clued in. It's all good, but he was bleeding profusely. So I was like going back and forth. Hey guys, I might have to call this match, talking with him. Hey, are you still good? Can you talk to me? Do you know where you are? Like all this type of stuff. And they kept going. They cut the time on it. But he told me he had to keep going because it was a win or you lose your career match. So
yeah.
I was
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
okay, sure. Yeah. All right. But other than that, I've been blessed to not have any insanely severe incidents happen while I am in the ring. But it's not so much that you hope and pray that those things don't happen, but more so recognizing that they do happen and you have the skill set to be able to help people in case something does happen, right? So yeah, that I have a superstition about full moons, running wrestling shows on full moons, because in
Oh
that
yeah.
show in particular, a young man broke his arm
Oh.
and then passed out because of the pain. And then 2 matches later was when he got busted open on his lip. And then also I think he was so concerned about his head that he forgot that he was in adrenaline is a crazy drug, right? He had like cracked a rib underneath too. So do not run shows on full moons. That's my one request, please. But yeah, I've had some instances happen.
Yeah, my sister, she's a dispatcher, and she tells me, full moons for some reason, there some stuff's going to go down on a
Mm-mm,
full moon. You know what I mean? You're going to get those weird
mm-mm.
calls, like, you know what I mean? Like what in the world? Like, okay, yeah.
That's and there's some superstitions within the ERs themselves where it's like you don't say the word quiet because it will
Mm,
soon be not be quiet the moment that you say that. Yeah.
there you go. There you go. Now, I had a quick one with an injury in a match I had one time. It was a four-way match. It was Hobo Harry, Chaz Evans, Samuel Thompson, and I can't remember the other person. Well, the finish of the match, it was like, Hobo Harry's supposed to grab the belt or something, run around, and they're going to do blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right when they came out, Hobo Harry come in and blew his knee out. You know what I mean? So he couldn't run or anything, like
Oh
less than
Lord.
a minute into the match, right? So I'm sitting there,
Yeah.
I'm in the corner, I'm watching them, they're, got, do a tie up and all this, and I hear, Rob, Rob, Rob. I'm sitting there, I look at the announce table, and I think they're calling me, and I look over and, Hobo Harry, Rob, come here. So, I mosey on over there like I'm still interested. And I'm sitting there like, yo, what's up? He's like, yo, I blew my knee out. You gotta let Chaz know. Da, 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 da. I'm like, oh, are you all right? You all right? He's like, yeah, I'm good. I was like, all right. Mosey on back on over there, Hey Chaz, all right, all right, all right. Oh yeah, those stuff, that stuff like that's crazy. I also like messing with the ring announcer. If I'm ring announcing, I'll mess with the referee. Like somebody's coming out, I'll be like, man, this person doesn't shower or whatever, just to get on, like, just
Oh my
teasing them.
gosh. Oh
If you ever
man.
watch, like, if you go back and watch my shows and they show it or whatever, you see, like, ring out, like, try to get on the break. So, how does the crowd treat you at the shows? You know, what I mean, do you get a lot of, do they mess with you or whatever? Like, is it like, do they go, this ref sucks, me boo? Do you get a lot of hate, or are they, just pretty, kind of neutral?
I think I get a lot more love than, unfortunately, my male counterparts. I think maybe it's just because it's a bit more rare, which is a blessing. I have yet to be booed at a show, which I'm very blessed to have that happen. Although I have gotten a lot of ref, you suck, or like that was a 2, or I know that I
Yeah.
have a higher tone in my voice, obviously, than some of my male counterparts. So when I'm like 2, like the crowd some people in the crowd go 2, or like something like that, right? So
Yeah.
but it's all in good fun, right? So it's never anything. I'm not hurt. I'm not
Yeah.
hurt, don't worry.
Yeah, when they say that, I mean, you're doing a good job. You're doing your job if they're
Yeah.
saying that or whatever. So yeah, don't worry about it. I
Yeah.
remember that's happened to me. I remember the crowd was all like, "This ref sucks. This ref sucks," and they're like that. I remember the guys that were back there like, "Man, they be getting on you." I'm like, "I love it." They're like, "Yeah, they must love you too." Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, it's all good. So when is your next show? Do you have anything coming up this weekend? Next weekend? Are you booked up pretty much through the summer?
Oh, well, let me tell y'all, we're talking about balancing the spinning plates, right? So this summer am definitely trying to balance everything. My high season for work is obviously the time in which our boats are out in the water. So that tends to be the summer, right? So I do a lot of traveling to go and talk to different customers in different states. And so if I'm in particular states, I try to pick up wrestling shows on the weekend that I'm there, right? So, and that's how I get so many different states, is I'm able to, if say for example, at the end of June, I will be in Texas. And so
Okay.
there is a show that I'm going to be reffing for Spark Joshi Pro. It's going to be an incredible and actually a milestone of a show. It's the first show that Stardom and Tokyo Joshi Pro will be working together, collaborating on down in Houston. So that will be on June 29th. June 29th. I just wanted to make sure. So I'll be down in Texas for that entire week for work, and then I'll pick up a show on there. I might also be helping out at Reality of Wrestling, Booker T's big promotion down there that everybody loves. So that's a very big it's a very big weekend for me. So just trying
Yeah,
to
that is.
balance the spinning plates and juggle everything at the same time. But I'm not in the position right now where I can take shows every single weekend. I think honestly I might die. So I'm just trying to balance things and take things when I can.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's like, I'm not trying to travel. You know, I got nothing but my hands full of 1CW in the school.
Woo.
You know, I don't want to go to West Virginia and stuff. You know what I mean? On my like 2 or 3 free weekends. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I got race
Yeah.
weekend and I got a beach weekend, and yeah, I want to rest. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
good this summer.
You got to do it or else you'll get burnt out. And I've always been
Hmm.
told, like, if it's not fun anymore, then don't do
Hmm.
it,
Yeah,
because I always think that you should approach wrestling as something. I mean, for some people, it's their full time jobs, right? For me, it's just a hobby.
yeah,
So for me, if it's a hobby, you need to love it, or else you're kind of just putting yourself out there for no reason. And also, as a referee, like, if it's a hobby and you hate what you're doing, then you're not properly doing your job, which is taking
yeah.
care of other people, making sure a show runs smoothly, and all of those different things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to go in there and look. Yeah, if I the second I go in there and I'm just like looking around the locker room, and I'm like, I gotta shake everybody's hand, and
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. That I'd be like, okay, yeah, I think I might have to, step away a little.
You
But
need a break. You need a break.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, every show I go to, it's like, hey, what's going on? I haven't seen you in years.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
how you doing? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah, it's all good. I know how you're feeling that. Yeah. So, being a boat engineer and stuff, I mean, how big are the boats you work on? Because I know nothing about boats. I just know about rowboats and canoes.
I
That's as far as my boat and stuff goes. And I was growing up, like my family, I guess they're against boats because they're like, there's two happy days of a boat owner: the day you buy it and the day you sell it. You know what I mean?
Oh, come on now. No, no, we're working against that mentality here.
And they
This is
said,
my whole
what did they
job.
say? Boat stands for bust out another thousand. So
Oh my
so
gosh.
yeah. So is that always true? Or they just mess pulling my leg, you know what I mean, stuff. And
No, they're pulling your
how big
leg.
of boats how
I
big of
get
boats do you usually work? Are you doing like cruise ships or you know?
So what's beautiful is I work for a company that's kind of an umbrella company. So we have
Okay.
boats that go up to 40 feet, which you can call mini yachts, or
Mhm.
you could go to smaller fishing boats, or just tinners. We call them tinners, right? So those can be, I think the smallest can be 10, something along those lines. I work a lot with like Midwestern fishing boats. So the largest model for that I'm currently working on right now is like it's called a 1975, which means that it's 19, almost 20 feet. So we're about the 20 feet range.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Because I've always, if I ever got a boat or whatever, I was thinking, it'd be like some kind of a 50 cent, it'd be a party slash shrimping boat. You know, what I mean, I could party and
Yeah,
make money.
yeah.
It'd be a 50 cent, a 50 cent shrimping boat. You know, what I mean, 50 cent style shrimping boat. You know, what I
All
mean,
you got
so,
is like a 40, probably a 40 on the back of that thing, and you can just mosey around on the tiny little lakes and catch some fish. You don't have to have like, what is it? I think people can strap on a 200 on the back of some of their boats, and you're Newman. You are
mhm,
zooming across these lakes, and it's just different sizes are for different people. Some people want to be incredible and show off on their mega yachts and have the money to do so, and some
mhm.
people are just very happy about fishing in their small little lakes and catching some walleye. It all is depends on the customer.
That's right. That's cool. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, but boats are fun. Every time I've been on a boat, like I've had fun. You know what I mean? Like yeah, you know, just any kind of boat, goes whatever. I've always had fun. You know what I mean? They're boats are pretty cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I do have to ask, before I pass it on over to Remy. See, in my advanced old age, I'm always get caught watching the same movies and shows over and over again. So like comfort shows, you know what I mean. So is
Yeah.
there anything new you've seen, movies or shows that you're watching or whatever that you're like, oh man, this is pretty good or whatever, you can recommend I can try, catch.
Yes, absolutely. So we talked about my taste in music, which is kind of very sweetness and light, right? I would say I can't do horror movies, guys. I really can't. It's something that's really strange with my brain, where it's like I love like true crime or detective stuff, and I think it's because the person's already dead, right? There's no suspense about like, oh, the serial killer is going to try and kill you, or Saw, and you actively watch people die, like horrible stuff like that. We have enough of that going on in the world right now. But I think like, so I love things that are somewhat like thought provoking, but could also just be like a really sweet, good time. So one of the things that I love is called The Great British Baking Show. British people put them in a tent in the middle of spring, and they bake beautiful things, beautiful creations. But then I'm also a big nerd, so I love Dungeons and Dragons. And so there's a show that I watch that is called Critical Role. And it's a bunch of these voice actors who voiced probably your favorite video games or anime or anything voiceover, really. Cartoons like the Marvel or DC cartoons. And they sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons every Thursday night. And some of the stuff is incredible. It's got like political intrigue and like betrayal of inner party stuff and like magic and history and chaos and all of this type of stuff. And so that's what I listen to when I have really long drives for work is the Critical Role stuff. The one I would recommend that's probably the best thing that they've ever done is called Critical Role EXU Calamity. If you don't know nothing about Dungeons and Dragons, it is the like, I would say probably the best D&D that I've ever seen played through. And it's so good. It's so good.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, but you know, I like the movies and stuff. I've seen the movies; they're pretty cool.
The movie was great. I love the movie.
Yeah, even the one like 20 years ago with Marlon Wayans in it. You know what I mean? Like where
yes. Oh my gosh, what a throwback!
Like that one was all right. You know what I mean? I like that one. You know, and yeah, stuff like that. You know, I'm good with it. I used to watch Will Wheaton on YouTube. He had Tabletop, and they would always play board games. I swear, I was watching friends, and we'd be like, "Yo, we gotta get this game." Like, there's like 2 or 3 games we literally bought. We watched that, and we bought and we were playing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
A fun fact is Will Wheaton is cursed in playing Dungeons and Dragons. So how it works is you have a 20-sided die, and he always rolls the lowest numbers, so he can never like win at the game. He's literally cursed. Anyway, fun piece of fact.
Oh yeah, so that's probably why I don't think they've ever played that on there. You know, that must be why.
Because he's cursed.
Yeah, he's probably like, you know, like, look, I can't lose all the time on my own show.
Exactly.
You know,
he's like, I'm CEO.
That's right. Yeah, I gotta have a win somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and when you're talking about true crime, you don't like horror, but true crime is cool. You know.
Yeah.
See, like with true crime stuff, like I like Law and Order and all, but that I can't watch SVU. That stuff that subject matter like turns my stomach.
It's difficult, and I think I go through phases as well where I'm very like I ebb and flow. I think that's why I like the sweetness and light things, because it really helps counteract the very heavy subject matter that's on SVU. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of why I like. There's a show that's called like The Librarians. I think it was on Sci-Fi. Yeah, it was on Sci-Fi for a while, and it's kind of like the magical version of Law and Order or the magical version of NCIS. You know what I mean? Like it's Monster of the Week instead of real things that happen to people in real life.
Yeah. Sci-Fi, they always had shows like that. Eureka.
Eureka's
Warehouse
great.
13. Warehouse 13.
Oh wow, you're naming all the bangers.
Yeah, I used to watch those. They would come on. I had a friend and she would watch, and we'd watch back to back. You know, because I think one would come on, and the other one would come on. They were like in the same universe.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're pretty cool. Yeah. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because like you said, because I can sit there and watch a horror movie. I can watch Jason take a machete to a dude's face and stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. But law SVU stuff comes up, and I'm just like, no, I'm like,
yeah.
Click,
I think there's too much gore and horrible things that are happening in the world, and I'd rather that we know that the case has been closed and we can look back on it and understand how they got from point A to point B to catching the person. But when it's things that are actively happening in the world, or just like really scary subject matter things, I don't need my brain to think of more bad things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's why I like. Yeah, I like my lighthearted stuff. Family Guy, South Park. And I like watching Psych. Stuff like that and all. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm with you on that. So before I pass it on back to Remy, I do want to say, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come chat with us.
Thank you.
I wish you nothing but the best, and I hope you you get continued success in anything you do, refing, engineering, all that good stuff. I hope tonight when you go to bed, both sides of your pillow are cool, and on your way to work tomorrow, you find like $20 on the ground or something.
Oh my gosh, what a blessing. Thank you, Rob.
Rosie, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a guest on our show. We really and truly are grateful for you being here and sharing, your story as a referee. That's what we at Ringside Society here we strive to do, is to give all our viewers, listeners, and fellow wrestling fans, just stories from not just the wrestler's point of view, but the referees, managers, promoters, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, when we started this, we were like, if we would interview we would interview Earl Hebner, Aubrey Edwards, and who else? Referee Bryce Remsburg.
Mhm.
Why not a Rozie Jones? Why not a Rob
Thank
Bates?
you.
Why not a why not a Mr. Black from Jobber Tears? Why the only difference between y'all and the names I call that are in AEW and WWE is pretty much production. You take away production from them, y'all are pretty much doing the same thing. So that's what we're doing. Oh, there is Rob in
Oh, there it
action.
is.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So great guy at 1CW. That's if you ever get a chance to work at 1CW. I'm not just saying it because Rob's a referee. If you ever get that booking, take it with a smile and go. They are a great bunch of people. A lot of talented men and women are there, and I would say that I know because I was there firsthand for WrestleMania week last year, and I literally took, I think it was a $40 or $50 lift ride to where they were just to go see 1CW. And it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. I don't regret it. I would do it again. Um, you only live once, so you got to enjoy life. So,
Absolutely.
thank you very much for doing this. And like I said, when we see you in WWE or AEW or TNA, best believe we will be screaming at the top of our lungs, "Yo, she made it there! Yeah, we just got her on the show." 29 promotions, 13 states, 2 countries, and now a big time promotion. With worldwide syndication, Rozie Jones is actually on there. Calling it down the middle. So we wish you nothing but the best. Before we actually shut this show down, where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk? When not really talk wrestling, but when they want to find out where your next appearance is, purchase Rozie Jones merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
Absolutely. So on pretty much all platforms, I am Rozie Jones. Rozie is spelled Rozie, and then Jones, Jones. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm no longer on Blue Sky. I felt like another social media app was just too much for me. I couldn't handle it. We've already got too much going on, especially on Twitter today. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but on Instagram and Twitter specifically, it is Rozie, the ref. Just to have a little tagline there. I do have a big cartel store. I've got T-shirts, and then I do make. I go to some EDM festivals, and I call it candy, but they're bracelets, kind of like Taylor Swift eras level bracelets. And then I'm going to start selling some 8x10s and some stickers because I hear that the girlies like those things. But yeah, you can find the link to my big cartel shop in my Instagram bio. Other than that, just support women's wrestling. We really be out here trying the best we possibly can. This is not our full-time jobs for the majority of us. We're just doing it for the love of the game and the grind and the hustle. So I appreciate you for putting me on, and thanks for the great conversation, guys.
Yeah, no problem. So y'all heard, make sure you follow Rozie Jones, an incredible human being and even more incredible ref who is actually, doing big things, and the motivation has gotten her to many places, as you can see. So go ahead and, show her that support, shoot that follow, cop that merch. And like I said, and like she said, support women's wrestling. I would say the same thing, to support women's wrestling. And before you say, "Oh, Remy, why don't you support them?" Well, Brody, check this out. I got Carolina Cruz's shirt on, so y'all can't say nothing about me. You know what I'm
He's
saying?
got it.
I bought that from her myself when I was in Las Vegas for WrestleMania week. So yeah, I
It
practice
was
what
a
I
great
preach.
time. I'm so happy it's going back to Vegas. I really loved about my
Were
time
you
in
there?
Vegas. I was there.
Wait, we might have been at the same shows.
So I was at Spark Joshi Pro. I was
Okay, I
at
was at that one.
Pandemonium Pro. I did not work Pandemonium, but I was just there kind of hanging out with the girls because we had to go from one show to another. I was at Fourth Rope. That show went way too long. Oh my God. I went to 4:30 in the morning. And then I was at Stadium Swim like the majority of the time watching Mania Night 1 and 2 because I was not going to pay those ticket prices to be in the nosebleeds for $600.
How much was Stadium Swim?
It's $40. It's fantastic. I can't put it on enough. Like it's $40 and you get to go and you get to swim in all these different pools. They have food, they have drinks. You can get a cabana if you feel so inclined. It's a great time.
I don't know. I might check that. Damn, you guys! Why don't bring Mania back to Vegas? I'm sorry, but shout out to the great people of Vegas, but I don't want to go to Vegas again.
That's okay. So it's for some people. For me, it was fantastic. For other people, it's not a great time.
My thing is this, and I know we're supposed to close, but Vegas is nice, but I'm not too like impressed by it. Now, Philly, I enjoyed Philadelphia, and I'm like I said, I'm the reason why I'm not impressed is because the vibe I get from Vegas is it's either you gamble or you drink. I don't gamble, and you can only drink so much. So it's like with Philadelphia, with New Orleans now, okay, we can after the match, we're gonna walk after the wrestling match, we could walk on Bourbon Street, get some Cafe Du Monde, which is very great by the way, if you haven't had any. But
my mom's
Cafe
from New Orleans. I've been multiple times.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking. Those things are like crack now.
Yes, they are.
But you could go to Cafe Du Monde, get some beignets, go by Mother's, get some jambalaya. You
go
can
on a ghost tour.
Yeah, you could just walk and see stuff. And if you're a photographer like myself, take some cool shots of the scenery. But it's like I got my shots in Vegas, my photo shots in Vegas. But I don't want to do Vegas again, man. No. I mean, maybe I would, but I'd probably go to different shows this time. Go to maybe FSW at the FSW Arena, stuff like that.
FSW was really great. But Big Time Pro was really good. All of the stuff West Coast Pro put on was really awesome. I just think because of the Sports Commission in Las Vegas, it is a whole lot easier to run in Vegas, which is none of WWE's concern. They just be out here making billions of dollars. But I think it's great for the indie talent, and especially now with the ID program, they're able to showcase that a lot more. And then I think GCW had an incredible venue this year. It was really, really fancy. So, and there's just plenty of hotels to put people up and plenty of places to eat. And it is a very Uberable city.
Yeah, it was. The one thing I didn't like with with WrestleMania afterwards, after I left the Allegiant Arena, I literally waited like almost an hour to get an Uber, and I heard
that's the one thing I did hear though is it was, and that's why I went to Stadium Swim. I'm not going there to be in an Uber line for an hour and a half.
Yeah, if I do go, I'm not ruling it out. I'd probably do Stadium Swim. Now that you told me about it, because I don't know. And then right when I got back, I got sick. Like the WrestleMania sickness hit me like right after I got back.
Oh no, not the crud. Oh god.
Yeah. I was like, awesome. I got to WrestleMania. I didn't get sick this year. And it was like, wait till you get off that plane at JFK. We got something for you. And it hit me. I was like, wow. But I don't know. It's a year. It's what 11 months out. Maybe I'll change my mind. But right now, it's like I really hope they consider another city, just for me to see. But
just in general, I love Mania Week because it's a lot like I think the Olympics. Like you get to see people's best moments, whether that people be on the main roster on TV or whether that be people on the indies who have been grinding and they finally get the opportunities to have their dream matches against their dream opponents in their dream promotions. You know what I mean? It's just it's a great way to network and get to know people and see different styles of wrestling you're not used to. Like it's worth it. It's just worth it to go.
I'm not gonna lie though. When I went to Knox Pro's 2 shows, they had a great setup. I don't know if you went to Knox Pro the past week, but when I saw the setup, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like Rikishi and the rest of them, like they just did it big, like nobody's business. I don't know if you saw the setup, but you had like 3 like bleachers, and there was a big like entrance theme where they could have actually walked down and like it was like kind of WWE Raw style, like
Yeah.
SmackDown style. I was like, wow, this is impressive. But I don't know. I'll see. I mean, I'm trying to keep my mind open. You know, WWE's gonna do what they feel is best. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'll give myself like by March to to see how I feel. I probably might end up going again, but so it's WrestleMania. But once again, thank you very much. For those y'all remember, make sure you follow this woman. Very incredible. Support women's wrestling as well. You know, like I said, there's a lot of great matches you could see once when you check out the ladies as well, because trust me, they have a lot of classics as well too. And with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. My eyes are getting a bit heavy. My stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for dinner and a nap, but maybe not in that particular order. But before I partake in those activities, Rob Bass, the Mel Gibson to my Danny Glover, the Eminem to my Royce the 5'9", and the Charlie Haas to my Shelton Benjamin. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, find out where your next appearance is, purchase Rob Bass merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
All right, you can find me on Instagram, Rob_Base82, and Facebook, Rob Base. And you can catch me on me with 1CW. You can go to Sportsnet.com, catch episode 1 all the way up to what we have now, and you can be all caught up with all the storylines. You know what's happened, wins and losses. You know who's with who's going against who, all that good stuff. And you might even see me, ring announce for a few, ref for a few. You might see me get beat up, and all this stuff. Yeah, you might see everything. So yeah, definitely go to DelmarvaSportsNetwork.com.
Don't
check it
bump
out.
Rob. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of that, yeah, I took a bump one time. They yelled at me. Yeah, I got yelled at.
Aye.
I didn't clear it with them in the back because we were walking out. It was like right behind the curtain. It was like, "Are you good? Are you good with that?" And I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about, it, I'm like, yeah. Let's do that. And then I got splashed. I'm out for like and I come back there. I thought, it's like, what are you doing? It's the third match. Now you can't referee anymore. You got to find somebody else. I was like,
oh God!
oh man,
no!
yeah,
Yeah. So y'all definitely make sure y'all follow Rob. Definitely great at what he's doing. Follow 1CW. If 1CW is in the area, definitely check them out. They're worth checking. They're worth your time. Definitely worth the time and the money. And I mean, if you're gonna buy a WrestleMania ticket, come on, man, go. And you're in Delaware, go ahead and support 1CW, man. Like I said,
Support indie wrestling.
they're really good at what
indie
they
wrestling.
do. Yeah, support indie wrestling. I keep telling y'all, if you don't support indie wrestling, you see how Rob is skinny. Rob's going to break it to your house and eat all your food. He's going to leave the skip rope in your pot and pan. That means you got to skip that meal because he done ate all the food. So if you don't want that happening, if you don't want Rob to get that nicely made sandwich you had or that lasagna you got left over, make sure you support indie wrestling. But it's definitely a great feeling. Yeah, it's definitely a great feeling when you do, man. Like, trust me when I say that. And if you want to follow me on social media, not that I say a lot of cool things, but I do go to a lot of cool places. You can see me, you could see my adventures in Tokyo and whatnot. You can definitely find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Remy Blue. Also on TikTok at the Remy Blue as well. You can also find me on Facebook as you guessed it, Remy Blue, and Blue Sky at remyblue.bsky.social. Our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Ringside Society all across the board. We're on Facebook as a Facebook group. We're also on Spotify, and we're also on Teespring, where we sell official Ringside Society merch. We have T-shirts, we have tank tops. Well, we have T-shirts, we have hoodies, we have coffee mugs, we have several designs coming soon. Our city, our city. I don't know how to explain it. Our city represent designs, or our rep your city, rep Ringside Society designs. We already have one out for New Orleans. We got one for New York. We have one for Miami coming soon. Rosie, you're gonna like this one. We got one for Pittsburgh. We got one for Chicago, and we may be getting one for Philadelphia, which is y'all's Eastern sister. We're still working on that one, figuring out what the colors we want to put for Philly, because Philly doesn't have a particular color. But and we also have one for Seattle. Shout out to our good friends out there at the PNW. So stay tuned. We got a lot happening, and also shout out to our designer Luis Moreno of at Moreno Artwork. He's another great guy. if y'all want to get your logos made. And yeah, check out our merch, cop some. All proceeds go back into keeping our show afloat. And last but not least, we have a YouTube channel where you can see cool interviews like this one, like our one yesterday with Matt Watkins, aka Mr. Watkins Photography. Our other interview with Luis Fernanda, Salem Alexander, and many other great men and women in professional wrestling. Many great fellow wrestling fans. You can find all those interviews on YouTube, and to see them, it's really simple. It's not rocket science. It's not even pre-algebra. Just go on YouTube, type in Ringside Society. I want you to see that really good-looking dark blue and light blue yin yang sign with the blue flames around it. That's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our videos, because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. But before I actually, but you know something, Rob, it's Thursday. I'm feeling so good. It's summer. Mr. Softy's outside. Mr. Frosty's outside. I might see him later on. Should I let them know what we have going on tomorrow at 9 o'clock?
Let's roll.
All
Let's
right,
roll.
here we go. So tomorrow at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be 6 o'clock p.m. for all my West Coast riders, and for all my people in the middle, it's going to be 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. We're going to be having Georgia's own Le Prince de Port-au-Prince, Zamir Zuriel, making his return to our show. That's right. He's coming back to give us an update on how things have been going for him. So he's going to be back on here tomorrow at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you tune in for that. We're looking forward to hearing from him. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody tuning in live tonight. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you. That is no cap, straight facts. Like I said in the beginning, we really and truly appreciate y'all. We strive on being one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan could, should, and would listen to, and we're not going to stop being that. To those of you that are going to listen later on, we get a chance. Thank you very much in advance. And those y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we just go away and take our merch. Well, like myself at the Golden Corral and Rob Bass at a Taco Festival, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. So with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we're very well and aware. We see it. It's no secret to us. Everybody and their grandparents have a podcast. But here's the thing. We're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag we are not the same. Hey, yo, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for the rose that blooms in adversity, the boat engineer by day and the pro wrestling referee by night, Rozie Jones.
Woo!
What type of podcast are we?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, and we'll be back tomorrow with another impressive guest on another impressive show. But until then, we have 4 favors for y'all. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and enjoy wrestling. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.